Hey.
Hey. What's good, people?
Hey, party
Welcome to the
people. It's a
show.
Wednesday.
Man.
Girl Chat Sports. We are in here. We are live in effect. We've got a lot going on.
Yes,
We're
we
going to,
do.
kind of jump into it. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Box Out, our official sponsor for the month of March. Let's go ahead and get them.
Make sure you check them out, www.boxout10co.com. Check them out. They got some new gear, repping the PG County over there in DMV. Anyways, we've got guests lined up, but then we have a last minute, super quick. We got to get this guy on because there's some major news and some major stuff happening this weekend here. So one of Mo's boys, one of the friends of Girl Chat, you should say. So we'll just go ahead and get him right on.
Yes.
What's up?
Markel.
What up, ladies?
Markel. If you guys don't know who Markel Martin is, Markel is the super agent with CAA Combat Sports Division who is representing our upcoming super match this weekend. The main contender, Francis Ngannou. He's going to be going against Stipe Miocic. So I'm looking forward to this fight. Just what can you tell us? Because you just briefed us real quick that you're in the UFC bubble. What's going on?
Bubble time.
Call at us.
First, thank you for allowing me to squeeze in. You know, you guys are family, so wanted to pop in and just give you a quick update. Yeah, so I'm currently in my room right now, solo at the UFC bubble here in Las Vegas. Francis is actually in the room right across from me, watching a movie, just kind of chilling in the room. But yeah, got in here yesterday, did our COVID testing, did some more testing this morning, and then just a lot of media. So obviously this is just a huge, massive week for UFC and more importantly for Francis.
Yeah, and let's talk about that really quickly because this is the official rematch. This is when he was just kind of coming up on his 7th fight. Yeah. He had faced Stipe. Didn't fare so well, but now that he's gone through many fighters and many other cards, he's ready. I know he's ready. He won his last match. So I think we're seeing a different Francis here. What can we expect in this match? What's his thought process? How's his mentals and all that good stuff?
His thought process, my thought process, his entire team's thought process is he's going to be the heavyweight champion of the world. Period. We're putting out positive vibes. We're speaking it out into existence. But, not to take away from the work and development that he's had and has put himself through since the first time he fought Stipe. So to give everyone kind of a quick context, right? Francis is one of those guys. He is or was on one of the fastest rise. I mean, the guy had just learned what MMA was about, 7-8 years ago. Okay. He got into the UFC. He was on a 6-fight win streak, right? All by finishes, got a title shot back in January of 2018 and lost to the current heavyweight champion, Stipe Miocic, who is world renowned, known as the greatest heavyweight in UFC history. So here we are, fast forward three years later. Right, he has the entire new team, right? So I'm not to take credit or anything like that, but it's like he has his coaching staff. He has at the time when he fought Stipe, my outside opinion was that he just wasn't ready for that level of competition at that time in his career. Right, it's kind of like rushing someone into something that they're not really prepared for.
Right,
understand it's like when you're at the top, promotion or league in the world, and you're at the big game, as they call it, it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of media. It's a lot of expectations. It's a lot of pressure. So not only did he have that, but he, what I would call inexperience, right? So he lost by decision. Then he lost the second fight, and he's been on a 4-fight win streak, all by first-round knockouts over the past 2.5 years or so. And yeah, so he finally has a second crack at it to become champion, and it's against Stipe again, who's an amazing fighter. I won't take anything away from Stipe, great guy inside and outside of the octagon. But Francis, I believe his life story, if you guys get a chance to check it out, I won't hijack this podcast, but please go check out Francis' story. We're going to do a documentary on it at some point in time with CAA. There will be a movie on it at some point in time. It's absolutely incredible, and I firmly believe that God has set his path to line up to this moment to be champion on Saturday night.
Hey, I'm ready for it too. I got my UFC shirt on too. I'm representing tonight.
Hey.
Representing. I wore that. I wore that just because I'm putting positive vibes out there. And then I noticed that congratulations to him too, because he just got branded on a new brand that he's endorsing or something that is behind him. You want to talk about that real quick?
Yes. So he's officially one of the faces of Gymshark Clothing, who is a $1 billion company, athletic apparel company based in the UK. These guys do a tremendous job. They are known kind of in the fitness space, but they, some notable athletes that they represent are Ryan Garcia, who you may have heard of in the boxing space, and now their most recent combat sports line with Francis. So we're super excited about that. And also, I'm not sure if you saw that, Mel and Mo, he just dropped news that we've been working on this for a minute. So he will be the first UFC fighter to ever drop an NFT.
Well, and I had read up on that, and I saw your guys' post, but I was like, okay, so I'm not too hip on the Bitcoin. I mean, I understand it, but then I was like, NFT, had to Google. So, like, what is a quick, cliff notes of NFT?
Yeah. So remember back in the day, we used to collect baseball cards and basketball cards. Just put that on the computer, on the blockchain.
Wow.
And now, it's nice. NFT stands for non-fungible token. So essentially what it allows artists or creators to do is put their artwork up on the blockchain. People have the chance to purchase it, and for the rest of its existence on the blockchain, that creator will then receive a royalty. So we collabed with an amazing artist, because Francis is not an artist, amazing artist by the name of Boss Logic, who's well known in the NFT space and known in the MMA space. He created some amazing art in which we're going to drop on Friday for people to go on and purchase, right? And there's 3 different editions, but it's conditioned upon, right? We did a kind of unique thing. So not only is he the first to do it in MMA, we did it super unique in terms of we're tying it around an event, right? So we're betting on Francis. We're all in on Francis, meaning that, hey, there will be an NFT that drops before the fight, but the remaining 2 cards that we created will only be released if and when he wins the title, right?
Okay.
So it's an entire experience for the NFT collectors and the fans alike to be involved. It tells his story. A large portion of the proceeds will benefit his foundation, Francis Ngannou Foundation, which is based in Cameroon, Africa, because he's all about the kids. So it's been an exciting week already thus far, and there's more news to come, but I can't share it right now. But the 2 big ones, Gymshark, official Gymshark, and NFT drop.
All right, we love it, and I look forward to this match. So you guys are going to be participating. It's going to be at the Apex Center this time, right?
Yep.
And will this be a spectator fight as the last match? No spectators, or what?
No. So they will not open up fans until April 24th, which will be in Jacksonville. That will be the first fight for the UFC back to fans. So this one will be in the bubble in Las Vegas, UFC Apex. Which we don't mind. I actually kind of like it because it seems like a practice, right? So it's not as much pressure because you feel the crowd, right? I'm fortunate enough to kind of be out in this corner. I'm the water boy in that sense. I just hold the water bucket and I let his coaches do his thing, but I'm always there for this kind of that energy side of things. You know what I mean? It's nothing but good people that we try to. It's a family that we try to surround them with. So.
That's dope. So I have one question, only because I looked into a little bit of. We were going to talk about him anyways in the show, whether we didn't know you were coming on today or not. But so his last 4 wins were all around in the matter of seconds. So 45 seconds, 26 seconds, 71 seconds, 20 seconds. If I was a betting person, which I kind of am sometimes. Yeah. Can I be betting on the over under of, let's say, like, I don't know, 100 seconds? I mean, is there going to be like a seconds type thing? I mean, I don't want to put you in a predicament here.
I never want to bet on my players. We'll take a win as quick or as long as we need to, so long as we walk out with the W. Yes, his last 4 fights have gone under a minute, but when you're facing the greatest heavyweight of all time, it's disrespectful to put those kind of predictions on someone. Sure. So we have way too much respect for Stipe to do that. But what I will say is that Francis is going to win.
Okay.
And he's ready, huh? He's ready.
Oh,
We're
he
ready
looks
too.
ready. He looks ready. He's ready. Yeah.
Trust
okay.
me, he's ready.
He looks ready. I can't. I'm just so excited. I can't wait. You're here all week. Kels will be in touch. I really appreciate you popping on. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Best wishes to Francis. Give him
we
my
can't
love.
wait.
Tell him I got some new stuff in the store for him. Whenever he's ready to come shopping after celebrating his win, we need new fits for that. So
yes, we will definitely come check you both out. Thank you so much for letting me sneak in here and say hello.
Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Kels. Right, Markel Martin.
Man, I'm
Drum
so
Set
ready
Sports, you
for
guys.
Saturday.
You never know what's going to happen. It's always an exciting moment on this show.
I'm trying to tell you. Yes. Shout out to those that have been tuning in throughout.
Yes.
I didn't get a chance to go through them. Nat, we appreciate you tuning in.
Yes.
What's up to the Bill Logan?
Yes, Mr. Logan. Shout out LTBB.
Shout out Box Out Clothing, of course.
Yes.
Thank you for the sponsorship. And Jose, we appreciate you. Make sure to tune into Jose later on at 9:00 p.m. Pacific time. I had a great interview last week with Brett.
You did.
Yeah. It was like a no holds, answer anything type of situation.
I love it. And Brett's been transparent like that when it comes to that. So I think that was just excellent that he was able to get him on again and speak with the new changes going on with the lights. But
for sure.
Boy, world of sports, it's always changing. I'm really excited about this match. Stipe is 20-3 to Francis 15-3. This is going to be
This is the heavyweight
championship. We gotta go all in for our boy Francis. So I'm ready.
Man. I'm excited for it. That was dope. Yay. Okay. And then we'll continue on and bring on our guests for this evening. I know, right?
Keep it rolling.
Hey guys, welcome. We got the guys from the Savery Show podcast joining us. We know it's a little late for y'all out there in the East Coast, but we appreciate you guys tuning in. Sorry for the pop-up guests we had earlier, but we definitely are ready for the fight this weekend. Not sure if you guys are into the UFC and MMA stuff, but one of Mo's friends is a big time agent out here for Francis Ngannou. So we're all kind of pulling for him. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Thank you so much for having us on the show. I know we had some fun before talking about the time difference here, but I'll be honest with you. 10 p.m. Eastern time for me, I have a son who's about to be 2 years old in April. So this time actually is better. I'm not going to lie. 10 is better than 7 for me. So shout out to y'all for doing that. But again, like I said, my name is Avery, everybody, from the Savery Show, co-host of the Savery Show podcast. Appreciate being on with y'all. I'm ready to chop it up about these sports, man. I'm really excited.
Right on. Sounds good. Hey, Sterling.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Yes, my name is Sterling Littlejohn, co-host with Avery as part of the Savery Show. And I just want to thank you guys as well. And actually, the time is not bad for me either. I'm normally up around this time anyway, so it works for me. So
I'm a little bit of a night owl myself, so I'm usually like, hey, 10 o'clock for me is good too. But, I know for some people on the East Coast, they're winding down at 8 or 9. And I'm always curious to know how sports fans, even exist on the East Coast sometimes because, games are starting 7, 8 o'clock out on the Pacific. So it's intense. But anyways, give us a little rundown on you two, how you guys started your podcast and kind of what your inspiration for that was.
Absolutely. So I'll kick it off. So Sterling, that's my guy, it's my brother. As close to a blood brother as he could, honestly. And so we met each other in 2016 at Xavier University, repping the X up in Cincinnati, Ohio. We were in the sport administration master's program. That's how we had met. And I remember this is our first semester, and Sterling and I were paired together on a group project. And from there, the rest is history, man. And honestly, funny enough, we might not look exactly the same, but he's almost like a carbon copy of me as far as our personality, our passion for sports, our passion for youth development, community outreach. It just happened to align, and obviously blessed to meet him. So the Savery Show, we started in June of 2020. So obviously the pandemic hit really hard. Really, I think started March 2020, over a year now through the COVID-19 pandemic, excuse me. And, I'm still actually working from home, believe it or not. But, we were working from home and we just had extra time to come together with some ideas, and the podcast idea just sparked. So the name Savery, so Sterling and Avery, that's kind of putting them together, right?
I figured that.
However,
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Savery, where are we getting that from?
Yes, that, but also to make it a little more, cool, more, interesting, intriguing. We as a play on words from the term savory, right? Savory. When you think of savory, it's food, right? Something delicious, full of flavor. And we figure, you know what? We're going to deliver the hottest sports topics, the Sterling and Avery show together. Let's call it Savery, not just because of our names, but because that time with food. And if y'all haven't seen our logo, if you go to our pages, you'll see the logo we have with like the bowl of the sports balls like on fire and stuff like that. So so it's just something cool, man. We came up with. We're very passionate about sports. As Sterling will tell you, man, we be on the phone, man, hours at a time debating sports topics, right? And I'm like, we are so damn passionate about this. I'm like, we should make a podcast. And just the banter between us is all authentic. That's just our friendship, our brotherhood. And like I said, man, it's been a blessing starting since June. Let me see what else I could say about it. We're at least, I think, 20 something episodes in. You know what I'm saying? We've reached our, over 1,000 downloads. We're available Apple Podcasts, Spotify, now on YouTube, all major podcast platforms. But yeah, it's been a blessing. We just turned it really a passion project of ours, and we just been grinding and going hard. We actually took a break, to be honest with you, before we got on here. So this is our first time recording since I think a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks now. But we try to provide episodes weekly, Saturdays or Sundays. We call it Savery Show Saturday or Savery Show Sunday. Just staying consistent to that. We got a pretty good following, just looking forward to building it out. And we really appreciate you guys being on the West Coast because, I'm out here in Atlanta, Sterling's in Indianapolis. So we're more, East Coast focused, but, mad love and respect to the West Coast. And we're, again, it's a blessing to be on with you guys. But I've said enough. Sometimes I can go on a tangent. So I'm gonna let my boy Sterling I'm gonna let him tell y'all his version of the story.
Yeah, so
let's get the Eat True Hollywood story now, Sterling.
Yeah, right.
Now I'm gonna get so how it happened was, Avery brought the idea to my attention. I'll be honest with you, I was hesitant at first because I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan and he's a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
I'm sorry.
It's an unusual couple.
I think we're losing Sterling.
Oh no! Look, no! Don't disrespect the Cowboys now.
Listen, because you guys
you're on our show. Again, check this out. You're on our show right now, so we can do all the bad disrespect. You're just gonna have to sit there and take it.
No,
man. We're not. We've got questions for you too upcoming.
Yeah. Let them have it. Please.
No, but go ahead. Continue on with your story. Yeah.
But just piggyback off what Avery said, he's, we're both brothers. So, when he brought it up to, the idea of doing a podcast, I was like, I was more than happy to do it with you, So, like you said, we met in 2016 and we just built, a brotherly bond pretty quickly. So, we talk sports all the time, like you said. I go back and forth with him about Kobe and LeBron all the time. So we talk about that. So it's, it was just natural for us to just do this. And it's been a blessing, like you say, it's coming up on a year now that we've been doing this. So, I'm sure it's going to be more successful for us, down the line. And I'm just thankful, to do it with him and thankful to be on your guys' show today. So thank you.
No, that's dope. No, I mean, I think that's one thing, like the power of social media is don't worry about Mo. She clicks in and out sometimes.
I sworn I was on a do not disturb mode. I could have sworn I told this person I was doing a show at 7, but
we've only been doing the show for a couple years now at the same time.
Just don't listen to me. I don't understand it. They don't listen. They really don't. I don't know how many times I have to say this. 7
No,
PM.
but I think that, what's great about social media is that we're able to be able to find other podcasts, cross promote, be able to engage, support other people no matter where they're at. And I think that was one thing that struck me about you guys is that similar to me and Mo, you kind of have this like great charisma when it comes to talking. You guys' show seems organic, it flows well. And that's all things that have been talked about for Mo and I in regards to, we've been friends for like 10 years and we've always had a camaraderie, and then sports on top of it just made it even easier. But, you find some shows that you feel like they're put there, just for that time, and they're not really engaged, they're not really caring, they're not really into the conversation. And me and her debate.
It's like very scripted, It's not like it's something that's,
And we debate
natural.
often because not only do I not like the Cowboys, I don't like the Lakers, I don't like the Niners. So between her Lakers and we have plenty of Cowboys fans that join in the chat, of course, because every year is their year. They're going to win the championship every year. So
listen,
okay.
if I could interject real quick.
Yeah.
I'm originally from New York. I went to college in Connecticut, went to Cincinnati, now here in Georgia. That doesn't matter where I go. You can always find a Cowboys fan somewhere.
I know.
Everywhere
team.
you go, I'm like,
it's America's team.
God.
I mean, they've coined that phrase correctly of it being America's team because they're everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, all over America.
All
over America. Yeah.
Got a shout out from Jonathan Sweeney. Said, "What's up to Avery?"
Hey, what's going on, bro? It's one of my bros
what's up,
right
Alex?
there.
Big Alex.
Yeah.
Man. Lex in the building.
So just before we start off, then do you guys have allegiances to teams or to players? And if so, what? Who?
Yeah. You want to go? Or you want me to go, bro?
Go ahead. Yours is more interesting, I feel like.
Yeah, mine is. So, okay, so it's interesting. So growing up, I'm actually a Lakers fan. My mom and my uncle, they were big Laker fans back in the Showtime era with Magic and Kareem, James Worthy, Byron Scott, the whole crew. And, that kind of just trickled down to me. I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan. That was my favorite player growing up. I love Shaq. But it's interesting now because I had to take a hiatus from being a Laker fan.
Why?
Here we go.
I'm tell you
the LeBron James story.
I need you to get to it right now. No chaser. Take it straight. Give it to me straight because I've never stopped the consistency. What's going on?
I'm not a LeBron fan. And when LeBron signed with the Lakers, it's been a struggle for me to root for him.
You sound like my mother.
Because it's always been LeBron versus Kobe. And in my personal opinion, I kind of felt, throughout the years, the media kind of in a sense disrespected Kobe's career, in my opinion. And I kind of feel like they don't really respect what he did while he played. And it seemed like, LeBron is great. I think LeBron's top 5 all time easy. He's top 4 on my list. But I just think that a lot of people kind of like, hey, LeBron is upper echelon. It's like LeBron's here and Kobe's all the way down here. And it's like, no, it's not that big of a discrepancy between the two. I'm fine with you saying LeBron is better, but don't say that it's miles apart. That's my issue. So that's where it's kind of the LeBron and Kobe thing. I feel like that's a way for a lot of fans. I mean, you can tell me more how you feel about it. I just know, like, when LeBron signed with the Lakers, a lot of Laker fans are kind of like, at first, like, we don't know,
Nah, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Mo. Wait a minute.
No.
He said a lot of Laker fans.
I'm on the West Coast, so I'm gonna have a closer connection to LA. I'm only 4 hours away, so I'll say what I'm saying. This is the deal. I've never seen. I've only in recent years of Kobe's passing have I heard most of the LeBron Kobe type of talk. I've heard more LeBron Jordan talk than I have of Kobe. Kobe has been that fifth element that's been kind of out of that because they've left it alone. I totally agree with you on the media disrespect, but I think a lot of that came from the incident in Colorado, and it just kind of fell from that because he deserved more MVPs than what the man received in his lifetime. But I've never really heard a beef. And don't get me wrong, I couldn't stand LeBron when he wasn't a Laker. I thinking he was overly dramatic. He flops on the floor. He does all this crazy stuff. Off court, he's a legend. He'll always be a legend. I think he's one of the best legendary basketball players for advocacy next to Kareem and everybody else that does that. So he's all time on that. He's notch one on that. But now that he's a Laker and brought us a championship that we haven't had in quite some time, LeBron can do no wrong in my eyes. LeBron can do nothing wrong to me in my eyes. He is our golden child. Yes, he's hurt. Yes, we will discuss about all that. But he can do no wrong in my eyes. Yes, he fell and he rolled off court and he rolled all on the ground. And I saw all the extras and all of that, then got up and walked in the tunnel when his injury occurred. But again, I see no wrong with LeBron. He brought us a championship. Now, the city was a little presumptuous to try to put a statue up. They knocked that down real quickly. It was like, no, this is still Kobe. Let's be clear. That's the only talk I've heard. I've never heard so much of a talk of LeBron versus Kobe as much as I've heard the talk of LeBron versus Jordan. That's more of a discussion on that, because the thing with Kobe is, for all that he was, a lot of his moves were from that Jordan era. So if you're going to say LeBron and Kobe as a debate, you might as well say LeBron and Michael Jordan as a debate, because they're 1-1 in sync because of the moves that Kobe studied for so many years to be on that level of Michael Jordan, who to me is top notch. He's always going to be the GOAT. Okay. I'm in that era of Jordan, Magic, Bird, the Bad Boys, Pistons, I was a kid with all of that. So I saw it in real time, how excellent Jordan was. It didn't take a documentary for me to figure that out. We already knew he was a GOAT. Yeah. Plus he's one of the most iconic shoes out there in the world that everybody wants a pair of, So it's that debate that I hear, not so much LeBron and Kobe. But carry on. I mean, I say you should come on back to the purple and gold. What is your second choice as far as a team then? Because you sound like my mother when she says, I can't get behind these Lakers right now with the LeBron thing. I love him off court, but just his antics on the court just gets me. Yeah. She's Golden State. She stayed with Golden State. That's fine. But what is your second team then? If you're not going to be with purple and gold, then where are you right now?
And by the way, your mom is 100% correct about the Lakers. I just want to say that she is not wrong at all.
Hey, my mom's a very smart woman. I'm never going to say she's wrong about anything. We disagree. I just see it as a healthy disagreement. I just see it in a different light, but carry on. Carry on.
So I will come back to the Lakers once LeBron retires, or actually leaves the Lakers.
Wow. Okay.
Once he leaves the Lakers,
basically when he will retire, but yeah.
Wow.
If he leaves. Wow. But right now, Brooklyn Nets are who I'm pulling for, because I'm a big Kyrie Irving fan. Kyrie Irving is my favorite player currently in NBA, and I love, Kevin Durant. To me, I think Kevin Durant is the greatest offensive player in NBA history, in my personal opinion. I just think when you're 7 foot tall, can shoot from anywhere on the court, he's unstoppable. And James Harden, what he's doing this year, averaging 25 and 10 plus assists, like he's doing a great job. And I think right now he should be, favored to win MVP, considering that, Embiid, and that's just how I feel about that.
But you still got Kyrie, you still got a KD element. Detroit or Philly, I'm sorry, Griffin.
Blake
comment from Les. LeBron is LeBron with an A, and he has and he has the most consecutive games in double digits. Well, he then was that guy, right? You got to get that double digits.
He's a stat guy. He still isn't, possibly 3 to 4 weeks, but he's a physicality specimen that we just have seen of no other. So the healing process.
Sterling, you got the Cal kind of, but the Nets currently. And then do you do like baseball or hockey or anything?
No, not baseball. I'm a big time Yankee fan.
Damn Yankees.
Oh yeah.
They're the Lakers of the East and the MLB. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'm a Dodger, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Once they hit a couple years.
New York Yankees, that's my baseball team right there. Now they got my guy Jalen Hurts. Big Miami Heat fans in the 6th championship when Shaq was his running mate, Gary Payton, Jason. And I don't think, and this is just my opinion, when they were down, really propelled them to that chip. Ever since then, I love D Wade, right? Fast forward, 2011, they got Carmelo, they got, Amari Stoudemire. That obviously took a turn to the 06 year. So from first, I want them to beat the Lakers.
It was a great series. It was a great series.
It was these Eagles. D Wade's my favorite back in the NFL, Vic, McNair. But I support, all the young black quarterbacks. I love, Jalen Hurts, of course, because he got to my team. I'm a supporter. All of them, Kyler Murray's up and coming as well. I'm saying? Russell Wilson in Seattle. And we could talk about the Seahawks too. Y'all in trouble. But, I still root for Russ.
I don't think we're in as much trouble as people think we're in, but it's definitely hot. It's definitely hot. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just get into it. We've got our introductions out. There's some hot topics we need to discuss. Before I get to that, let me just one more time say thank you to our sponsor, Box Out Clothing. They out there on the East Coast. We appreciate you. CO.com. Check them out online for the new gear. Black quarterbacks. So we'd love to touch on it last week a little bit when it was just, I think, the 3 cases or 4 cases. We're now up to 14 civil lawsuits. And I say civil because reports, there's been no charges against him, but 14 civil court cases for Mr. Desean. Who wants to go first on that and your thoughts?
Yeah,
I could take it first.
Yeah,
I'll take first. Yeah. So, I could be wrong, and I'm not trying to be funny about this, but I think it's at 16 now. 16 civil lawsuits.
16 today. Yeah.
Yeah, 16 today.
I guess I missed
because
two in
I
10 hours.
I thought it was 20. I was here 20, and I wasn't sure.
It's probably. I think there's some pending. So tomorrow we could wake up. It could be 20. Let me just say this first. For one, and I didn't mention him yet. I knew we were going to get into him, but Desean Watson's another one of like my favorite players. I love what he's doing on the field. His backstory as well when he, getting to the league. And obviously this, I never expected this to happen to him. So I'll put it this way. I believe everyone's innocent until proven guilty. However, you have to take the allegation serious, right? Now, I'm a little skeptical because we all know that Desean Watson requested a trade out of Houston. He made it very public, right?
Very true. Very true.
The thing that bothers me is the timing of these lawsuits. That's what bothers me because I'm not trying to shut them down. I'm not like some people out here. I've seen it on social media. But the timing bothers me because of how he wanted out. Okay. And the Houston Texans were not trying to trade him at all. And also, and Sterling had brought this up to me earlier today, I haven't seen the Houston Texans really, support Desean Watson or back him either, right?
The NFL's put out any statements regarding this matter whatsoever, not even since day one. Very interesting.
And I think, and he's honestly, besides Mahomes, you look at the young up and coming quarterback, he could be another face of the league, right? And the thing that hurts, I think, I don't want to assume he's innocent. I'm just saying innocent until proven guilty. If he happens to be innocent, I still believe that his image will be tarnished, right? Even if he's innocent, that's just my personal opinion, because he's a young black quarterback, okay? And just this one mess up again, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, if they settled in court, so he's not admitted of guilt, right? But he settles and pays off these women. Is that a good look for him? No,
that's
right?
Like an admission of guilt.
Yeah.
He's tweeted that he said he's not going to settle, that he's going to try. He can go to trial and clear his name.
We're going to see what his lawyer says. But
that was during 3, though. And that was early on when he was on the Twitter community saying that. So now that we're at these numbers, we haven't heard anything.
And one last thing I'm going to say, ladies and Sterling, is that reading the stories and the facts of it, it's like, you just got to be smarter. You got to be smarter, bro. Like, putting yourself in that situation to begin with, it don't sound right. Like, 16 and maybe 20, it's like, come on now. Like, when it gets to these high of numbers, as much as, because I like the guy as a player, I don't want them to be true. But it's just, the more they keep stacking up, it's like, it's hard to just say that. I can't just throw it away. I can't do it. And I personally, for his sake and my sake as a fan of his, hope that he's innocent. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But if he's guilty, man, you gotta face the punishment. But however, you did bring up that it is a civil case. It is not a criminal case, right? So that's another, thing about it as well. But I hope that he ends up being innocent. I hope he learns his lesson. It honestly, man, just in this era, man, you can't put yourself in these situations. And even Desean Watson going on social media trying to, bat down the claims against him. If I was his lawyer, I probably would advise him not to say anything, to be honest with you. Right? Whether you're innocent or guilty.
Right.
Sometimes the best thing to say is nothing.
Right. And I think he's been fairly quiet. I mean, as opposed to what he could be saying. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Sterling, go ahead with your take on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So mine's similar to Avery's. I think my whole thing is, I know Stephen A brought this up today. I think it would be best that Desean doesn't try to get back on the field anytime soon until this issue is resolved. Because we have seen in the past that the NFL has messed up countless, sexual assaults, abusive assaults, they've just messed up so many times. So, they have to make sure they do their research into what's really going on. And just like Avery said, I'm a big fan of Desean Watson. I hope the accusations, aren't true.
Right.
But like he said, you have to be smarter, especially being like, Desean Watson's status, and you're a very popular athlete, a lot of things can happen. So you have to be careful. And also
I know Big Lex just commented in there real quick is that because even with this many cases, it somewhat establishes a pattern, which I think is true. My only thing was like, once they found one, it was kind of like someone made a commercial and was like, hey, have you had an encounter with Desean Watson? If so, give us a call. You could be due to some money. Like it was kind of like one of those things where, hey, we found one. I'm sure we can find more. Let's just keep pushing. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of, again, it's not to say that it isn't true or it's not true, or he's still innocent until proven guilty. But it just, like you said, the timing. And the only thing that bothered me was at first it was Desean Watson's innocent. He's saying he never did any of these things. And then I think it was yesterday that his attorney came out with a statement saying that it was consensual. Now I'm like, so first they didn't happen, but now we're saying if anything did happen, it was consensual. So what are we talking about now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I told you what my theory is about it. It's just very convenient with the timing that he wants to be out of this situation. And these ladies have hired an attorney who's a very close personal friend to the Texans ownership organization. And that all of a sudden this is some kind of pulley of, if you will, to kind of get him to either stay or if you pay, you can go or whatever to free him up. I don't know. I mean, that's speculative, but it's just very interesting to me on all of it. And again, I am not one to say that I take all sexual assault matters very seriously. Yes. I think the violence against women that happened in this country is a travesty, and a lot of it falls on deaf ears, and a lot of justice does not get resolved from it. But at the same time, this is just a very, very interesting kind of thing that just happens to occur right when we're in the trading situation with the NFL and everything that's going on. And that this is a top prize winner who pretty much any team would give their firstborn to have play on a team, and they know his value. And the fact now that may somewhat get tarnished. And I just, again, from earlier, NFL hasn't even spoken out on this. And usually when allegations occur, you're hearing something from Goodell's memorandum immediately, and there's nothing. I just find this very, very peculiar that they're sitting back and saying, well, we're just going to let this play out and see what happens. It's just all too weird. It's a little strange for me.
It is.
But hopefully, to your point, Avery, that it is not true, because we do have a high standard in regard to Desean Watson. And for people that have known Desean, even in the Clemson days, you mean to tell me no scandal has come up since he was at Clemson or any of that during his playing career? They've all said that he's been this great guy. And, you see this person for who they are, but they may have a dark side to them. A lot of people do. But again, I just hope that we are not right on this situation. I just want to sit with my popcorn and just keep drinking. Oh, and by the way, Sterling, not to interrupt my little diatribe, but the Utah Jazz are winning right now. Score is 38-24. I'm just saying. Okay.
Nobody's playing for Brooklyn. Nobody's playing for Brooklyn.
What does that mean?
Kyrie not even playing.
Kyrie's not playing. They're going to lose tonight.
Is that a problem for you? Because you're saying championship.
I don't understand what's the big deal. James Harden's not playing.
Okay, then I want that same energy with my players not playing with the Lakers, and we're going to go.
I got you. Okay,
all right. I'm just going to make that clear. Okay.
Oh man, this is along. So I'm just looking forward to seeing when there's going to be some kind of evidence that we can, figure out what's really happening. Because I know they mentioned there's text messages exchanged, and I mentioned before, I text my masseuse, I let him know if I'm coming late or if I'm, on the way. But depending on what's in those texts, I think is what's going to be interesting.
And are there pics? Because they're saying that he did this and he did that.
Are there apologies for what I did or this or that? Yeah.
The receipts will come. We just need to see the receipts. I mean, he probably has some receipts on his end too.
Yeah. I talked about yesterday. I was on a friend's podcast, but I know Mo has some stuff, Lakers are going to the playoffs. We know. But with LeBron's current injury, along with AD, you got a month of both of them gone. How is this now affecting the Lakers in that playoff standing? Are they going to, is it better now they're going to be a lower seed? I tend to think not, but I mean, it's going to be it's a tough month. However, it looks like Utah's been doing bad too. So I don't know. I'm a little.
Well, we
I'm
knew
a
this
little
flip was going to happen with Utah. They weren't going to stay long on the number one top spot. We kind of saw that coming just because they were on such a hot streak. But I would love to hear the boys' take on it because you know what I'm going to say, and I'll say it after everyone's we're done. I mean, you'd be surprised at what I say. You'll be surprised.
All right, let me. You know what? I know Sterling. You know, y'all getting on him because he's the ex-Laker fan at the moment.
I'm not about to take this slander.
I'm so more on that energy than the Laker thing. I think I'm more offended about him being a Dallas Cowboy fan than I am about him stepping away from the Lakers.
Yeah,
I think
that's number one right there.
I can explain that.
Cowboys here.
But let me know what you guys think. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So you can go ahead, bro.
Okay. So with LeBron's injury. Obviously, it shows that the Lakers truly need him. Okay. And that goes for LeBron's whole career. You know, anytime LeBron is not playing in the game or anything like that, his team just falls apart. My fear is I don't think this is going to happen. I hope that their role players can step up, meaning Kyle Kuzma, Dennis Schroeder, Markieff Morris, and Montrezl Harrell. Hopefully they can step up, but I'm worried that if they don't, the Lakers could possibly slide down to the 7th spot and have to play in the play-in tournament to get into the postseason.
Oh, good point.
I hope that doesn't happen, but I could see it if LeBron and AD are out for a long period of time. And also, you know, I'm not really more so worried about LeBron's injury. You could because of his age, but I'm more so concerned about AD because obviously they're not saying it, but we all know this is Achilles injury. And, you know, will he come back close to 100%? Because if not, the Lakers will not win a championship. Because personally, I want to see the Lakers healthy against Brooklyn. So I'm going to feel cheated if LeBron and AD are injured, because I already know all the LeBron lovers out there are going to say LeBron was injured, and that's why Brooklyn won. So,
oh, wow. I just had to. People. I'm not one of those people. Definitely not one of those people. But I don't know who the people are.
But we all know those people. We all know those people.
We all know. We all know.
But I'm not one of those people, just so you know.
No, I know. But I mean,
we're on trade deadlines, guys. So here's another thing to factor in because it's rumored that Lakers have secretly been shopping Kyle Lowry. And if we do get a Kyle Lowry in that position, we do have to give up 3 men on that. And it looks like the 3 men would be KCP, Dennis Schroeder, and who's the other one? Trying to think. One more, and a first rounder. No, it's not Trez. It's I can't remember. Oh, Gasol. It'd be Gasol in exchange for a first rounder.
That's a throwaway.
It'd be either Gasol or the first rounder for Kyle Lowry. Also, the
Raptors have tanked already anyway.
Well, and we're in our deadline with less than 24 hours for trades to be done. So that is a possibility. And if we do get down to that kind of situation, then things could possibly change, you know, as far as the Lakers go. But to your point, to drop down to a 6 and 7 seed, I don't know. That's kind of a stretch. I see us going maybe 6, maybe. Because all these injuries are starting to occur in the West, right? So everybody's starting to have some issues going on.
Breaking down.
So they're breaking down. So we're going to see what this looks like in weeks to come. LeBron is a physical specimen. His fitness is ridiculous that he spends a ridiculous amount of money on. It is very undisclosed as to what that physicality and regimen looks like, because he will not disclose what he goes through. But for his high ankle strain, they're saying 3 to 4 weeks. This man is saying he'll be back possibly sooner than that and stronger than ever. I kind of believe it because it's LeBron. If it was anybody else, I'd be like, nah. But the way this man is conditioned, I don't know what's going on with his body, but his body is just something that's no one's ever seen. And this is his first real injury that he's ever actually had, besides the growing pull he had a couple seasons back. But this one is just something that I'm curious to see when the return will be. AD, this is what I was worried about with him as a Laker fan. He is very injury prone. This is not his first time being out on some serious stuff. And if you're talking Achilles, yes, that could be just the season ender for us. And then that means we need to get some more bigs on the team. Now, Andre Drummond is still out there, not playing with Cleveland, waiting for an buy offer. Lakers could try and go after that as well. But who's to know, And like I said, when the trade deadline ends and we have some surprise shakeups, I can't say where our Lakers in the position of where we're ranked currently now at 4 will be after the trade deadline.
Like I feel when I wake up in the morning, because I wake up late out here, it's about like 7 or so in the morning. So it's 10 East. I feel like I'm gonna wake up to all of these notifications about what's happening, because the trade deadline is noon here in the West Coast. So it's gonna go crazy in the fact that, there's so many possibilities and there's still so many options. And, people have talked about numerous players, even like Lori Markin, can't even say his name. Okay. From the Bulls. They've been talking about him. That's my team. So, I don't want to see anybody leave the team. I need people coming to the team is what I need to have happen.
No, Zach's going to leave. I keep telling you this.
I know what you're saying, and I understand.
He's not worthy. They're not worthy of him there. I'm sorry.
I understand that,
they want to take
but
care
they've
of
got to make the move.
They do.
I know, because it's been too long that we've been sitting in the bottom of the ditch. Like, I'm tired of the ditch. We're starting to make our way up. I just feel like maybe if they even got into the 8th seed and had some shed of light of hope, that the city could then eventually be like, okay, it's time to make changes here. But aside from all that, there's a lot going on. But I don't know, Avery, I don't know if you talked about
your take on the whole thing.
I was going to, so I'll start with the Lakers, because I was looking at the standings and I was looking at the schedule, right? So, yeah, you guys, listen, the Lakers, as we said, they're going to make the playoffs. Can they slide? I'm honestly, I think 6 or 7 is actually very realistic, to be honest with you. I think, so Mo, I'm looking at the schedule here. You guys got a real tough road trip starting April 2nd. Y'all got to go. Well, not the first game, at Sacramento, Clippers, at Toronto, at Miami, at Brooklyn, at the Knicks, at Charlotte. I'm looking at the schedule, and because I see the schedule, and a few back-to-backs with Utah, back-to-back at Dallas twice, I can see y'all slipping. Y'all gonna slip because
too, but I don't think we'll slip too far. I see a couple games we could possibly win, and that's only if the opposing team has more injuries going on, like maybe Clippers or Brooklyn, or the Dallas Mavericks is our tough one. That's a tough competitor. Knicks, I'm not worried about the Knicks. I think the Knicks we can kind of do something.
This year,
I know what's going on. They got some acquisitions, but we'll see. It comes down to coaching at the end of the day, so we'll see with that. But yeah, our schedule it's ruling.
I was going to speak on real quick too on the Kyle Lowry thing that you're talking about. So I'm a big Heat fan, right? We actually, we're trying to get LaMarcus Aldridge, which I really don't care for us to get. Kyle Lowry, I think I'll be keeping real. The Lakers, y'all not getting them. I'm sorry to break it to you. Y'all just don't really got that much to trade. Now the Heat, Tyler Herro, who before I know Spencer Dinwiddie were Brooklyn, he was discussed maybe being the piece. I'm like, I hope they don't trade him for him. Kyle Lowry, he's older. This is the last year of his contract. Do I really want them to trade a young Tyler Herro who hasn't even reached his full potential yet for Kyle Lowry? I don't know, but this is just my prediction. I honestly believe if Lowry does get traded, do not be surprised if he goes to LA, but for the Los Angeles Clippers.
That was a sleeper.
They ain't got nothing either.
A Laker fan all of a sudden again.
It's a sleeper prediction. It was one of those things that they didn't see coming. There are 3 teams that are shopping him currently, and Lakers weren't on the radar for it, but they just came out of nowhere saying, "Hey, well, let's throw what we got into it too." I'd hate for us to give up a Dennis Schroeder. He's like a mini Rondo for me, and I think he's hustling, running the point, and doing really well. Younger version of him. So I don't see it happening. And if that doesn't happen, people are really strong on Andre Drummond coming to the Lakers, which we need a big because
that
Marc Gasol, I think his head is still in Toronto.
He's
I
done,
think he's still not there.
I don't even know why he's there. He looks like he's on a cloud.
It was a big that we thought we could do, but we could have kept JaVale McGee or somebody. I don't know. It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah,
but this is what we're looking at. So
but
if I'm the Clippers and I'm Jerry West and you see the Lakers are wounded, you need to take advantage of the situation because we knew how they flopped and were the laughing stock and memes all over during the bubble when they lost. this is the only, I believe this is the last and only hope you have to getting to the finals and getting a championship. If you're the Clippers, you got to try your hardest to get that point guard. I'm telling you, and Kyle Lowry.
No, they're not gonna. They got a better chance of getting Lonzo Ball than Kyle Lowry.
And
in my personal,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, that's what the Clippers. They're going for Lonzo.
They gotta, because Kyle Lowry, in my opinion, like I just think that he won't go to either the Lakers or Miami because of what you just said, Avery, as far as the contract. And he came out today and said he wants a max contract after the season. So who's going to give him a max contract?
Lakers aren't giving him a max. Yeah.
Oh, no. None of them will out.
Yeah.
A team that needs to trade for him, though, is the Philadelphia 76ers, if they can. Because, I mean, obviously, he played at Villanova. He has ties there. Yeah. I think he would love to get there if he could, in my opinion.
And they do need him. You're right.
They do. Yeah.
They need him. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. The conversation is just so great. We're almost already an hour. We're going to go a little bit over, I'm sure. But to take it off of the NBA free agency, or the trade deadline, we'll see how that goes. I did want to get your guys' take. You know, March Madness is upon us. We had a crazy first weekend. There was no perfect bracket after, I think, the beginning of round 2. Like Saturday morning, they were like, "Whoop!"
When Oral Roberts won, the brackets just busted
everything
on a lot of
things.
Shattered. Yeah.
Ohio State went down, and the world went to shambles. You know, I'm proud of my Pac-12 team. I'm a Husky, even though my team suck themselves. You know, we got 4 teams in the Sweet 16 coming up for the Pac-12. There's been some great upsets and whatnot, but I think, and I want to just get the guys' take, because there was a great story that came out in regards to the NCAA and the discrepancies between the women's and the men's tournament in regards to their weight rooms. We saw the food, some of the items they were provided. I mean, we always know the take between, you know, I think today was even like the pay discrepancy day or equal pay day or something. But aside from the NBA, WNBA tie, we're talking just the NCAA. And they both bring in revenue, maybe not as much. But what is your guys' take on just what was seen in regards to what originally was seen from the women's? They literally had one weight rack with, I think, 10
what was your initial reaction seeing that post? What would you guys think as soon as you just saw it instantly? Because I sent it to Mel. She hadn't seen it yet until it just dropped.
My initial reaction was that weight room was worse than one of them hotel weight rooms. Right, you know, the little hotel weight rooms they have when you go somewhere, and you got the, you know, the 1 or 2 treadmills, a little small weight rack, and this little machine. I'm like, I thought it was a joke, and you know, obviously they made like the TikTok about it, and I'm like, it's just, I mean, come on, man, it's March, obviously it's Women's History Month, and I'm not surprised, which is very sad and unfortunate to say, but I'm not surprised, and of course, you know, the NCAA, as they're never proactive. They're always reactive, right? They're always, oh, we messed up again. Let's make sure we try to do this. And I think Mark Emmert is trying to have, they said they were trying to have like an independent review. I'm like, y'all know what y'all did, man. This was no mistake. This was not an accident. This was not to me, it's like, oh, let's try to cover our behinds and, oh, well, you know, we just need the right guidance to help us go the right path and direction of how we can have more equal, you know, the weight rooms and this and that. It's like, even I heard something about the COVID test too, I think, and the vaccine. No, not the vaccine, the test for the women. Like, they just weren't even the same type of COVID test as the men were getting. Or I think they didn't have enough to do it as frequently as well as the men did. So all of that is just like, y'all really couldn't make it equal. Like, y'all really had to make it this much of a disparity. I'm not surprised again, but it's a shame, man. The NCAA should be ashamed of themselves. Obviously this issue we could talk about, even, you know, should they pay athletes and things like that. It always comes in discussion every year. They just seem to continue to mess up over these past few years, man. We've obviously went over the NCAA a lot when we were in grad school together, and it's like every year it's something new.
Right.
Yeah, but it's just another example of sexism, honestly, when you think about it. And
there's some things that I was even like, okay, maybe, like, I mean, sometimes there's different food. Okay, I get that. The difference was real clear. But then, like, they were talking about how, like, even the women's basketball court, it didn't even really, you couldn't even tell that it was actually like March Madness court. It wasn't like, you know, and I was like, that's sad that even you can't even at least get the court right so that you're even promoting yourself. You're promoting the NCAA and the brand, but you can't even get that right. So I was just
everything should have been consistent and unilateral. If you're in a bubble, they're in a bubble. If the facilities need to mirror each other, it should never have been. And to me, quite honestly, when they did upgrade and give them equipment, it still was of a subpar level. Yeah, it was better, but I still wasn't impressed. I still wasn't happy. Like, it should have been an equal situation, especially when you have these companies like Dick's Sporting Goods and all these other major corporations that say, hey, we'll even donate equipment. Like, it's not a big deal.
Right.
So why is NCAA not even going that avenue if you didn't want to pay? Like,
well, the crazy part, you have
crazy.
literally one rack of weights for a team.
I mean, it looked like something that would be in
How is
garage.
a team
like
supposed
a set of dumbbells?
Like, I have more than that at my house for just
Exactly.
me. Like, how does a whole team use one rack and like 5 yoga mats? There wasn't even a treadmill. There wasn't even like, there was nothing else but this rack and then
I see 3 more treadmills. Okay, no bikes, no punching bags, no. I'm sorry, it doesn't look like the gyms I've attended to. Like, this is crazy to me. The gender inequality of this is just really, really stupid, and it should be unilateral. And for the vice president, who's a woman, to put out this canned letter with no empathy and no kind of thing, that was just plain stupid.
You know, they put that on her too. Like, oh, here, you do this.
Well, that was like
because
the face.
you're the
it was
woman.
Like for optics. Let's just see what she says. But it just wasn't a good optical moment for her, and she should be. That was a letdown. I mean, it's just
what about you, Sterling?
Yeah. So for me, I feel like the NCAA has had a long issue of this, even going back to the 1970s with Title IX, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I just feel like even like in 1976, like the NCAA didn't feel like Title IX should be involved with athletic programs. So that lets you know where they stand when it comes to, you know, women in sports.
Right.
And also, like, something I found out the other day too is what I was very interesting to me was that the NCAA provides bonuses for the NCAA men tournament. As far as like, if a university wins a game, they get a bonus, you know, for that particular win. And when it comes to women, they don't get that at all. Like, they don't receive a dime of that at all. So to me, it just shows you like the lack of respect. Like, you know, we talking like the weight room, the equipment, the food, and, you know, the swag bags that they had as well.
Right.
You know, the discrepancy between the two. It's very alarming. And, you know, obviously it's a different topic, but we saw this happen with the NBA and WNBA as well, you know, back in the bubble, you know, this past last year, and what was going on there. You know, a lot of people had issues with that. So it's just, you know, a huge like effect as far as the disrespect that women athletes have to, you know, go through consistently, you know, whether it's college or on a professional level. And it's just very alarming. And it's sad that, you know, these organizations, you know, or these universities or whomever, they don't see the issue until we bring it to light, until it comes out to the media. That's when they want to say, oh, you know, we didn't intend for it that way. We apologize. No, you intended it for it to be that way because you never really thought about it to begin with. So that's my, yep.
On your topic, because I know I read like an update. I didn't read the article, but they said that Oral Roberts, I think, had already gotten like 120 million or something.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
they did.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
okay.
And real quick, if
crazy.
I could just say one like little closing part for me. They didn't have March Madness last year. I know because obviously COVID, and it was supposed to be here in Atlanta, right? And I was looking forward to it, trying to plan some events, whatever. Didn't happen. We all know the millions on millions of dollars of revenue, in the TV deals, or really billions of dollars. But they missed out on that. So they knew they were going to have it. You got to tell me, all the people that work these, you know, high level jobs in the NCAA, when you're planning these tournaments, right? You know that you got to get your money right. You know, TV deal, we got to have the tournament this year. Of all years, it's like this year, you guys going to get it together. You guys don't plan this stuff, right? The scheduling buses and flights and getting people here at this time, here at that time. And whoever was in charge of the weight room, I'm sorry, you should have got fired. Like,
it was one person that set that up. That was it.
It definitely wasn't a full crew.
Yeah.
There was no crew that
couldn't
truck
have been.
and stuff to do anything.
Well, and the fact that
But
they
it's
didn't
like,
have a
come on
March
now.
Madness last year means that you should have carried some of that funding over into this year as well. Like,
well, you would think
you gotta
that.
be prepared, man. Like,
You would
that's
think
not
that, but
no
it's
excuse.
again, it's the attitude of like men some men, I'm not going to say all men, they just don't care about women's sports. They don't see the importance of
and they never will.
Sports. And it's the same thing with WNBA. It's like, who cares? We want to see the men play. So it's that same kind of archaic attitude that transcends in NCAA. But NCAA been on that bull jive. You mean to tell me that they don't want to play these athletes for their likeness? That was a struggle. You know, it took for the athletes just to get, even male or female, that are on scholarship, to get proceeds, and they couldn't take from boosters and all these different rules and stuff. So they've been on some old whackness for the longest time. And to your point, Avery, when you opened in the beginning, are we surprised? No, we are not. No, we are not. In 2021, we are not surprised. But they've got to do better.
Never surprised.
And I think what helped with all of this was the fact that celebrity male athletes, high power figures, tweeted, expressed concern, shared, did everything to make that happen, to put them on blast and the community, because that was the only way you could get an attention like that. And thank God for social media, because if there was no social media, we would be seeing snapshots of this later on after the tournament's completely over.
Listen.
So we would never have known.
I mean, we would have never known.
This is crazy.
That's the coldest part, I think, for me, is that we would have never, ever known. Ever.
Thanks for sharing. Because
gets me into my next point, because we've got Girl Power, a segment we like to do on the show. We like to give our props to some women that are in the news and into sports. The first one, of course, being Stonah Price from Oregon Ducks, who posted that video. Had she not sent this TikTok, which I read got like 7 million views on like TikTok, had over like 12 million views and tweets on like Twitter and whatnot, had not been for her, no one would have known this, like you said. Like, that's just
I mean, we would have been reading about this later on in a magazine and seeing articles of coverage of it and be like, what the heck is this?
Right.
You know, without a chance to react to it. So yeah, big ups to her, because you have to. When you see some stuff and you see some bull jive out there, you better start filming it, because that's the only way we're gonna know.
And second girl power moment, I just got to give it up to this girl right here.
Oh, yes.
Sabrina.
Let's go, honey.
Gracing the cover of Slam magazine.
Yes.
Let me just tell you, she is, from my count, because there is no official count like I can Google, from my count from looking at Slam magazine covers, she is only the 6th woman or women, because, you know, we had our 2 aces, Liz Cambage and Asia Wilson on one. Only the 6th cover to feature a female athlete on it. Shout out to Sabrina.
Mama mentality.
Man,
that's right.
Great mama mentality.
Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Look at your moves now. She is blowing up.
And I'm ready for her to see her this season, because, you know, having that early on injury that took her out, I'm just like, I know she's ready. They were talking about in her interview with her is that even while she was doing the photos for the interview, even while she was doing her interview with them and talking, every break she had, she was dribbling the ball, shooting the ball in the air, taking 5 seconds to walk off the set to go shoot hoops and stuff. Like, she's constantly on her game. Right.
I like that. Sounds very Mamba-like. And Gigi.
Yes, indeed.
Big ups. That's dope.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, we appreciate you. We got to get you back on again and talk about football probably once you get close to this season, because we definitely got to talk some smack. I don't want to let this podcast go into like 2-3 hours, but we didn't even get really even off hot topics. We didn't even get a chance to discuss football, because I know we got some stuff to talk about. So we'll definitely have to get you back on. But until then, let people know where they can find you, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, and then, of course, what day. I don't know if you have a set day that you do your podcast, when that is, and how people can find you.
For sure. So we are the Savery Show. It's your boy Avery, co-host, my boy Sterling, co-host of the Savery Show. You guys can find us on Instagram. We're probably most active on Instagram over any other social media platform. We have a YouTube. Please subscribe. We have about, I think, 4 or 5 videos on there at the moment. Check us out there. We're available pretty much wherever you get your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, just to name it, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Deezer, a whole long list. Just type in the Savery Show on Google, you will find us. We always have like our Savery Show Saturdays or Savery Show Sundays. So normally we try to post either Saturday or Sunday. And also we go live once in a while on Instagram Live, sometimes on like Monday nights and things like that. But yeah, we just appreciate the opportunity, man. It's been a lot of fun on here.
Yeah.
And hopefully get a chance to maybe even bring you guys on our show or come back on yours.
We would love that. We would love that.
Definitely.
Definitely.
We like to get our
Sure.
voice out there on the East Coast sometimes
Yeah.
too, you know.
We love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we
We might have to
welcome
push the
that.
time. Start time. I have to go back a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll work it out.
We can make
We'll
it
work it
work.
out.
We'll make it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah.
again to our sponsor. Thank you for all that have tuned in. Make sure if you're just catching this, you can always rewind and watch the recap. And also make sure to like, subscribe, follow Girl Chat Sports YouTube. We also have a Facebook page and a Facebook sports group where we do share some of our content. Make sure to check us out and follow the guys.
And thank you again, Markel, for coming on too.
Thank you, Markel.
We
Yes.
appreciate it.
Let's go, Francis.
Yes.
We want that
absolutely.
win. All right, y'all. We'll catch you later next Wednesday.
All right.
Nice.
We're out.